God is good, and with each day that passes brings us a day closer to the launch of Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. Today I want to talk about the joys of exploring in Pantheon, the joys of exploring in a fulfilling and meaningful way in an MMORPG world, a place teeming with mystery and intrigue, the joys of finding shortcuts and ways around certain danger, and how different systems in Pantheon Rise of the Fallen are going to make this such an enjoyable experience. And also we're going to talk about the RPG side of MMOs that is lacking so much because of NPCs and because of the environment, and we'll get to that too. Before we begin though, if you are new here, please consider subscribing, especially if you are interested in old school MMOs. I specialize of course in Pantheon Rise of the Fallen, and I also cover RPGs, JRPGs, CRPGs, and all that sort of thing. And a big shout out to the members of Napalm. For your support, I thank you so much. I literally couldn't do this without you, and if you are interested in becoming a member, please click the join button down below for more information and a list of perks. So let's get started. One of my favorite things to do in MMOs is to get a lay of the land, to find out what's out there, to test the limits of the zone, to find all the nooks and crannies, to uncover a dark, twisted tomb, or get lost and have to trace my steps back to get back to town, or to find something I recognize and get my bearings so I can keep exploring outward into the world. This is something lost, in my opinion, in the translation of most MMOs with grand visions and systems. Oftentimes do we hear about exploration being a big part of an MMO's list of things to do, or something important to the developers. Very super rarely though do we get an MMO that actually produces something that feels real and visceral, something that actually feels adventurous to go out and take it all in and get out there exploring. There are two major factors in my opinion that hinder that experience, and both are tied to convenience. Number one is maps. If a map is readily available for me to open and see where things are, the magic of the zone loses about 50% of its potency. Sure, I haven't seen the point of interest on the map. I don't know what creatures are there, what NPCs or quests or whatever, so it's still worthwhile to go check it out even if I have a map and can see that point of interest, but the actual spell of amazement, of actually stumbling upon it without having the slightest idea that such a point of interest even existed, is a huge part of the lost 50% of the magic of exploration. Or how about after I've thoroughly been all over the zone, I don't actually know the zone yet, but I have a handy little map, so getting back to the main town is a piece of cake. I'm never really lost. I just reach instinctively for that M key with my right pointer finger and voila, I am back on track. There goes another piece of magic. And not just that salivating inner soul of mine that wants to explore, but the memories and future nostalgia bait I could have gotten from being lost and stumbling upon something incredibly different than I had meant to see or uncover. The story could go like this in an MMO with a map. I see a mage tower on the map to the southwest. Sounds cool, let's go check it out. I go, it looks cool, I see some wizards on the ground that are dead that probably are from that mage tower. I see some really hard monsters running around, looks like they probably killed them, they're too high level for me. Looks cool though. I head back to where I was, open my map, and go back to where I was killing mobs before. Alright? That's how that would go with a map. Now without a map, it could go more like this. As I stepped from the heavy thickets of the forest, a mage tower looms in the clearing, sparkling and divine, its spire reaching to the heavens, beckoning me to inspect it closer. As I step closer, I realize there are creatures I have never seen before. They outlevel me and are spilling from an entryway. There are dead wizards lying about from a great struggle not so long ago. I decide to slip back into the forest until I am of higher level and stand a chance, or find a group of adventurers who want to help me explore that place. I try to return back though to where I was camping previously, but on my way back I take a wrong turn and I find a graveyard with a church beside it aging poorly with vines overgrowing and spilling through the roof. I go inside and find, you get the point. I found those things. They were out there and I didn't know, now I do. Now, should I find some party members, I may have to try to lead them back to this spot, or perhaps one of them has been there before and off we go following his or her lead, and everyone is excited to see this cool area that they perhaps knew nothing about before today. And it's exciting, and it's an adventure, one made not necessarily as a quest or being led there by the developers, but something someone saw, thought looked cool, and started telling people about it. Now, developer-led adventures have their place in Pantheon as well, and we'll get to that in just a minute. First, let's dive into how not having an in-game map changes the world from the perspective of others. For example, let's use the Mage Tower again. I start telling my guild and I think it's so cool, and I start shouting it out to the zone and how cool this place is. People start asking me, where is it? Well, no one would ask that if there was a map, or even if there was a map but it wasn't a point of interest, we all would have this point of reference on the map, such as it's southwest of the Lake of Tears, or it's northeast of the Forest of Embers. You get the point. But without a map, I have to actually articulate where it is at. We will begin naming things as a community. It might sound something like this. You have to follow the road north from the Forest of Embers. When you see a broken tree off the path on the east, follow that direction east through the woods, and you'll come through a clearing and you'll see it. Now, the broken tree, for example, is a marker. It's a word that may be used over and over by the community to explain directions. We'll have to give directions to one another. This is something so interesting and fun to me, something lost in the ultra convenience of so many games today. And of all these interesting things are possible really because there's no map. The fog of war effect would not solve this. Only having a map or making maps very hard to come by or something of that nature creates this type of connectivity with the world as a real explorable place. The other convenience in most MMOs that ruins exploration, in my opinion, is all of the quest markers. The question marks over NPCs' heads in particular, but also the fast traveling and all those things that are making decisions for me, the player. And we spend a lot of time on this channel talking about how the massive part of the MMO genre is missing in MMOs due to easily soloable through to in-game content. But something equally important and equally missing is the RPG side of it, the role-playing game side. And these conveniences are killing it. For example, imagine if when you were in college and you're at a party and only the people that shared your particular set of interests had a question mark above their head. Instinctively, 90% or more of the time you would only talk to those people. That's what MMOs are doing to NPCs with the most commonly used quest system. Yeah, it's convenient to know who I need to talk to if I want a quest, but now there is such a low chance I will ever see what the other NPCs are going to say. They are now the same as a swaying tree in a forest. They are a prop for the environment, and that is sad. In a game like Pantheon, we will see a random NPC wandering around in the world and be like, hey, I wonder if they have a quest or can tell me something interesting. And they might. Or they might just say something about the sky being awfully blue today. But regardless, now you are entrenched in a part of the genre that is sorely missing. The RPG side has come alive. You are playing that role of a random adventurer out here looking for your place, for what you like to do. The sandbox loving part of you, or the tabletop RPG lover side of you, gets a huge breath of fresh air. It's like literally breathing for the first time in a long time in an MMO when you experience this. One last point about exploration in Pantheon Rise of the Fallen that I want to discuss before we wrap this video up is the developer's side of leading you to adventure. Because I do believe the developers are our DMs, our dungeon masters. So yes, they have to also make us want to explore or beckon us beyond our comfort zone. And in my opinion, this is where the perception system kicks in, where the dungeon master tells you something that makes you say, say what? And causes you to react different to your environment. or leads you to go investigate further. This will lead you to places you maybe wouldn't have thought of, or to learn something that you didn't know, and can and will lead you on a game of exploration from tickling your curious little brain. And also, the world of Pantheon is being built to always grab your attention, sites and points of interest that you visually see, and then stumble on even more on your way to find the one you saw from before. This is, in my opinion, a huge part of what makes Pantheon Rise of the Fallen so special, so dear, and why it really is a spiritual successor to the MMOs of yesteryear. The developers at Visionary Realms carefully weigh convenience with nerdy fun, and so far, they have always made the right decision on which direction to go. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about exploration in Pantheon, or any ideas you might have, and let's talk about it. I hope you enjoyed the video today, and of course you know there are always more videos coming here on the Nathan Napalm channel. I hope if you haven't already subscribed that you would consider doing that now. And a huge shout out to the members of Napalm. Thank you so much for your support, and if you would like to become a member and support my channel and my future here on this platform, please click the join button down below for a list of options and perks. And until next time, God bless and happy gaming. Please listen to what I say. I've been making videos all day. It's a video buffet, you can even hit replay. But please just subscribe. I can't even describe being part of my tribe. I'll even offer you a prize, but please just subscribe and hit the bell notification too.